Welcome to Lizzie's Bedtime Stories Pride Special. I have a returning guest who is an exceptional author and a trailblazer in lesbian fiction, and I am very blessed that she's spending some time with us for the Pride Special. Lee, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Liz. I really appreciate being here again.
So you're going to be reading for us. Can you tell my listeners a little bit about what you're going to read and why you chose to read it for the special?
Okay, I'm going to read a column I wrote a few years ago, and I wrote it because I believe it illustrates one of the major focuses of pride in being gay, and that is creating and sustaining relationships, long-term relationships between people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about how this particular couple shows their pride.
Oh, great. I'm looking forward to hearing it. You can start when you're ready.
Okay. The column or blog is called Gay Gumption. I thought it was all about the wedding, but boy, was I wrong. As they say, a wedding is tying the knot. You sign papers, make public vows, and accept the support of friends and family. You also tell your spouse that this is forever and ever and ever. Once upon a time, there was nothing to signify a gay joining but a bedroom and an overstuffed VW hauling furniture, the stereo, and a cat in a carrier. All too often, a few months or years went by, and the VW would head off in another direction, plus or minus a cat. But that didn't always happen. You just didn't hear much about the knots that stayed tied. Recently, my sweetheart and I were invited to help celebrate the 25th anniversary of a couple who didn't have the advantage of a formal knot-tying ceremony. They fell in love in high school and had nothing but their love to keep them together. It couldn't have been easy. Certainly, my early relationships succumbed to the wrath of the closet, which could scar one with a habit of easy dishonesty, especially within oneself. If you're not honest with yourself, how can you be with your partner? You end up stumbling around inside a house with no foundation, in a maze of lies and denial that make it impossible to sustain a relationship. These days, I know of so many couples who stayed together till death did them part, and I know more who have hit the 25 mark, the 35 mark, 40 years and beyond. By the time I was 40, I'd learned how to stay. But back in my 20s and 30s, I only knew how to unravel the rope, never mind tie a lasting knot. And even at 40, I didn't know enough to make good choices. That took another 20 years. How did these long-lasting couples who've come out since Stonewall know who to choose and how to make it work? Our 25th anniversary friends had no guides. Those of us who came before sure didn't set a good example. I think this couple must have had gumption, hard-headed determination and respect for themselves, for each other, and for their non-anointed marriage. Not that we didn't have gumption before 1969. We had it all right, but most of us used it all up in fighting the wrong fights. We fought ourselves because we'd been told we were demons. We had trouble respecting our unions. How could I think well of my partner if she chose a demon like me? How could I trust a relationship between demons? How could I even want it, much less confidently promise forever? It was always easier to get in the weighed-down VW and move on than to face my own demons. Then, suddenly, the Stonewall riots, which scared me because I believed that shining a light on gay people was dangerous. Those rioters flipped on the whole circuit breaker. Closets melted in the heat of the lights. A glimmer of self-respect shone into our souls. At the same time, teenagers in small-town America were falling in love and looking at the marching gay people on TV and understanding they were not the only ones, that they were not demons, that they were people of great value. It still wasn't easy for our friends because they loved in a world that continued to demonize people like them. It was dangerous outside each other's arms, but they didn't drown their fears in liquor or sabotage their tie by moving away. They never found gay books until 2003, but they played sports and got good jobs and stayed together and saved money and bought a home with a good foundation. For their first dozen years, they were so closeted they had no gay friends. Finally, a friend at work came out to them, and they had another couple who could share the special moments in their lives. They announced at the celebration that they made it this long partly because of that friendship. My sweetheart and I drove 25 hours round trip to witness their accomplishment. Relatively new ourselves, it was important. In the large convivial room, there was a glow of accomplishment. The couple's two families were there, as were work friends and team buddies. I imagined afterward the heart-rending moments of rejection and eventual acceptance that made this day possible. This couple, whose gumption surely must have wavered now and then, gifted all of us by bringing us together to toast their example and their achievement. See, their smiles seemed to say, there's no demons in this room. Not in us, not in you. They can't untie this knot. Thanks, Liz.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
Ah, it's just, and so much happens in such a short period of time because my partner and I have been together for 9 years, and she had wanted to propose to me and for us to get married, and I said, I'm pretty much married to you now, and if we're going to get married, I'm going to wait for marriage equality, and I really didn't think that was happening.
Yeah.
Not that I was avoiding commitment, but that I was like, if I'm going to do that, I don't want to have an approximation. I want to have a real wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And but my in-laws, like her cousin and her mother, both were like, when are you guys actually going to get married? Because I had the ring and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, all right. And so we organized and we had a really great traditional wedding, which is something that my partner wanted. And it was a civil union in New Jersey. And then not even a full year later, just before Pride weekend, it became legal in New York City.
Yeah.
So people were like, I was at a Pride party with, well, actually, I think you married Nell Stark and Trinity Tan.
Yes.
So I was at their home, at their Pride party. I was at their Pride party when it just became legal to get married, and everybody was asking, "Are you two going to get married?" And now we're all hitched.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's a very different feeling. I always have called it transformative. There's something much more significant to a legal approved wedding that I believe makes the commitment more firm, and also you're just plain not hiding. Your family's there, your friends are there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide anymore, and you don't want to, and you don't have to.
It must, and you and your sweetheart have been married.
Yes, we got married on October 10th of 2010 in Provincetown, Massachusetts, the first state to legalize gay marriage. And it was a very, the woman who married us said it was the happiest wedding she'd ever been at.
Mm.
Because, we're not just celebrating each other and our relationship, we're celebrating a freedom that we've never had before. And we're celebrating that we can share it. And
So
then,
you were married in 2010?
yeah.
You married the day before I did.
Are you kidding?
No, we were gonna do 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
And but the place we wanted to have the wedding, they wanted us to have 150 guests, and we wanted half of that.
Yeah.
And so we did it on the Monday, and it was so many things were cheaper that way. And also, it was so funny. I was in the limo going to my wedding, and my bridesmaid, it was straight, and
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know, doesn't have very many gay friends. She said, "Oh yeah, my trainer told me that this is National Coming Out Day." I was like, "I had no idea."
Right. Yes, of course, the 11th. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's so funny. So
And, and
very
isn't it great that
soon.
we have these significant dates now, and we're acknowledged even at the presidential level?
I know. I just, what, one of the things, well, I think this is good for the spirit because about a year or so ago, there were so many awful things happening in politics when it came to women's rights. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's been just this beautiful cascade of legalized marriage in the United States. I just keep on, every time I, open up my Facebook, like another state has deemed it
Yeah.
unconstitutional to
Yeah.
keep us from marrying. It blows my mind. How does it feel for you?
Well, I came out in 1960.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely inconceivable at that point, and I was not in favor of this movement. As I said in the column, I thought we should stay in hiding. We should be more discreet because it was safer, because it was dangerous back then.
Really dangerous.
Yeah, and I just I can't I can't get over it. The closet doors are open if we want them to be, and some people still don't want them to be. That's okay too. But to be able to celebrate ourselves and our relationships out in the world is very fulfilling.
One of the things that really touched me was when there was the photograph of the draft pick, where it was the first openly
Yeah,
gay man
yeah,
to be drafted, and on top of that, he was there with his lover,
yeah.
and they had this sweet kiss, which of course Fox News did evil things with, but it was the sweetest, cutest thing I've ever seen, and I was like, God bless him,
Uh-huh.
because it is not easy. It's not easy to come out as an athlete. It's not easy to come out as an African American male.
Mhm.
And he just did it. And it seems like it it sets off these like reverberations, and it just left and right, like this person is coming out and that person is coming out, and it just it it blows my mind because I was cynical. you
Mhm.
know, I thought that, the right to marry was pie in the sky. It was never going to
Yeah.
happen, and it has. And I'm glad they proved me wrong, but I'm still stunned.
Yes, and also, watching what's going on in the rest of the world and the countries that are banning gay marriage, and Uganda increasing its penalties, and it's not over yet.
No, I have a feeling that it's always going to be a journey because
Mm-hmm.
like we have all these, wonderful moments where it's legal to marry and people are coming out of the closet, celebrities and whatnot, taking the risk because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them avoided the risk. And then for so many people don't understand what happened when Ellen came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like her career was over.
Mm-hmm.
And it sent a chilling effect for many people who were even considering it.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's a popular daytime show. Truth is so much stranger, more wonderful than fiction. And then all the things that are happening in Russia, and it's just it's like opposite land. Like we have all these great things happening, and then there's so many archaic things happening that it's hard to kind of mend the two together.
Yeah, it is, and we're very lucky politically in some ways. For example, having President Obama on our side,
Mm-hmm.
and celebrities like Ellen, making the face of gayness not so foreign, not so strange. And that's got to have an effect worldwide eventually.
So how does it feel, for you? You've seen the entire evolution.
I know, what an amazing lifetime.
I know you've had an incredible life, and what I love is that you're still writing. You're still a part of, the movement, so to speak. You're still making things happen, and it's wonderful. I know that, readers and listeners out there are happy that you're still writing books and doing blogs and going to all these events. It's really neat.
Well, it's a lifetime. What word am I looking for? Commitment. I didn't just go into this to make money or tell stories. I didn't think of myself as political, but obviously I've turned into this political creature because I'm so committed and so involved. It's what my life has become, and I'm very proud of it, and very grateful that I had the opportunity to live now, when I can make a difference. Little or big, doesn't matter. I can help.
We're so glad to have had you, Lee, and I love having discussions with you, and I look forward to seeing you at GCLS next month.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you too, and I also enjoy talking with you. And we'll have to do it some way besides online sometime.
Yes, we do. We have to do that really foreign thing of being in the same room and facing each other and having a enjoyable conversation.
But at the same time, I'm glad that we can do it this way too.
Me too. I'm so happy, and I'm glad that you were part of the special. And I love the blog and our little conversation, and I hope to have you on again.
And I have a book coming out in October.
Oh, what's coming out? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's Ruth Sternglantz, an editor at Bold Strokes, decided we needed to do a book of my columns, my blogs.
The Amazon Trail?
The Amazon Trail. So it's called An American Queer, 25 years of the Amazon Trail, it's been running since '86, but I had an earlier book. So, it's coming out in October, in time for Women's Week in Provincetown. And I'm just really pleased.
That's so cool. Because you and I spoke about the Amazon Trail when I interviewed you last, and you unintentionally created an archive of what life has been, over the decades, and it's such a gift. And wow, how exciting, everybody. I hope you're listening closely and keep your eyes peeled for when it comes out, because she writes great columns.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to let us know about before we...
Thank you so much for doing this. You work very hard, and you're making a difference too. I think you're creating an archive that would not otherwise have happened, and that's so valuable to our history and our present day culture. This encourages women to read and to write and to be proud of ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it started from just enjoying the opportunity to speak to people who I admire and their writing that I enjoy, and unintentionally it does create this library of conversations about fiction and writing, and
just like the Amazon Trail did.
I know. I'm not like I can't take on a mantle as amazing as that, but I just, I'm glad that I can do my part as well.
And congratulations on your book, I guess now.
Yeah, my novel is it's pretty much done. I just am waiting for the copy edit, and then it gets formatted, and then magically it's a book.
It's very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time.
Okay.